Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Well, Brexit is preoccupying not just the Prime Minister, but many British businesses too. Among them, Hitachi Capital UK, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Japanese multinational. It's a leading financial services company here with more than 1,000 employees. Well, I'm joined now by CEO Robert Gordon. Well, there are those who say that whether we stay or go, it doesn't really make that much difference, including the top fund manager, Neil Woodford, who says, you know, it's pretty fine and balanced. Do you agree?
I agree. It's not going to be a disaster if Britain leaves the EU, but it's a missed opportunity. I mean, the EU is the biggest market bloc in the world, so why exit?
You sound a bit relaxed about it, though.
Oh, I'm not relaxed about it, but you know, Hitachi is in is in the UK because there's fantastic opportunities. It's one of the biggest economies in the world, and you know, we've got a lot of opportunities to help UK customers, UK businesses. So for our business, it's great that we're in the UK, but missing the opportunity to trade in Europe is very, very important.
Well, so if Hitachi uses the UK as a launch pad for the rest of the EU, would it then consider basing its UK business somewhere else in Europe if the UK does exit?
Well, you mentioned, yes, a lot of Japanese and US companies use the UK as a launch pad for Europe, so that's very important. But they won't be exiting from the UK. It's a big market, great opportunities, but they will have to rethink their strategy.
Well, then the campaigners who say we're better off out, that's grist to their mill, isn't it? If it doesn't really matter so much, you know.
Well, it does matter. It does matter to the UK. I think being part of that big trading bloc is very, very important. So it brings jobs to the UK, it brings employment, and it's good to be in the EU. And I think Britain being in the EU is quite exciting because having the conscience, having the push to change and reform is very important. Old institutions need to reform.
So would jobs be at risk in Hitachi if the UK exits the EU?
Not immediately, no. I mean, the opportunities in the UK are very important, so that's where our focus is.
See, hearing you speak, a lot of people will say, well, it doesn't really matter to British business so much if we vote to leave the EU. You know, it's tempting for them, isn't it?
It does, because trade is very important. I mean, it is the lifeblood of the economy. To trade and to specialise is very, very important. So I think being part of a big trading bloc is actually vital for the economy.
Do you feel certain that you know what the impact is, or is that part of the problem here, that it's the fear of the unknown?
That is exactly part of the problem. Uncertainty is what business doesn't like. It likes to have sustainable growth, and having certainty in the market is very important. So that uncertainty, can Britain negotiate with Europe a free trade zone if they do exit? That is uncertain. Who knows the answer? And
do you think David Cameron's got the best deal that he could? Are you happy with that? There's reports that British businesses are being asked to sign a letter supporting the deal he's got. Would you sign such a letter?
I think David Cameron's got a very difficult job. Negotiating with the EU is difficult. Reforming the EU is difficult. I think this is the start of a long process.
Robert Gordon, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.